Hello, welcome to Japan Lyric Room.
It's wonderful to be here.
In this program, we savor the lyrics of Japanese songs, exploring the meanings contained in the phrases and the unique Japanese cultural backgrounds in an easy-to-understand way.
And today we have a really special one to look at.
We really do. We are settling in with a track that has just absolutely exploded in popularity. It's dominating the charts, but I think more importantly, it's really touched the hearts of music and anime fans all over the world. We are savoring The Brave, or Yuusha in Japanese, by the super duo YOASOBI.
A phenomenal track. And for anyone tuning in who follows the anime scene, you'll immediately know this as the opening theme for Frieren, Beyond Journey's End.
It sets such a fascinating tone right from the very beginning. You have that signature high-tempo driving electronic beat that YOASOBI is famous for, but the topic itself is actually quite heavy. And what's so interesting is that the song itself is based on a short novel. It's called a fanfare, which was supervised by the manga's original author, Kanehito Yamada. So this isn't just some vague interpretation.
Not at all. This song really crystallizes the world of the original work perfectly. It's completely canon.
And the setting itself is what makes it so different for, a fantasy story. Usually a song about a hero is about the call to adventure, grabbing the sword, the heat of the battle.
Right, but this is an after story.
An after story.
Exactly. The main adventure is already over. The Demon King is defeated, the world's at peace. The song written completely from the perspective of Frieren, an elf who lives for thousands of years.
And it captures her feelings as she starts a new journey, a journey to know humans after the death of the hero Himmel, who she traveled with.
It's a song about grief, really, but it doesn't sound like a funeral song.
No, it sounds like a race. It feels like she's running towards something.
And that's intentional. The music mirrors her emotional state so well. It starts with that quiet, almost lonely piano. That's her detached elven heart.
And then it just builds and builds.
It rapidly heats up, becomes frantic, energetic. That's her heart waking up. It's the sound of her memories of Himmel warming her and pushing her forward.
So it's about connecting the wishes of the dead to the future, turning that into courage.
Precisely, which is why the title is The Brave. And to really understand how she gets from that cold, detached place to that warm resolution, we've picked out 7 key phrases from the lyrics to explore today.
Okay, let's get into it. The first phrase comes right at the beginning, and it really sets the stage for how Frieren sees her own past.
The English cultural nuance for this opening phrase is a story from a distant past that feels like a legend or a fairy tale.
A fairy tale. The word in the original lyrics is otogi, isn't it?
Yes, otogi. Yeah. In Japanese, otogi banashi refers to folklore, legends, the kinds of stories you'd tell a child. It implies fiction, but Frieren is using this to describe her own life.
That's really lonely when you think about it.
It is. It shows the loneliness of a great achievement. I mean, they defeated the Demon King, this massive historical event, but as time passes, it starts to lose its reality. It becomes just a symbol.
It stops feeling like a memory and more like something you read in a book.
Exactly. That's the tragedy of an elf's sense of time. She's so distant from it now that she can view her own past objectively, almost like it happened to someone else.
So there's this feeling of closure, but it's not a comforting one. It's like she's put that part of her life on a shelf.
It feels like closing a book, yes. It suggests that at the start she's resigned, detached. She's looking at the most important moments of her life and saying, well, that's just a story now.
And that sense of resignation carries right into our second phrase. It's about time and how it just erases things.
It gets quite dark. The English cultural nuance for this phrase is
time washes everything away into forgetfulness, regardless of human will.
This is a heavy one. It brings in a very Japanese philosophical idea. The key word here is Mujo.
I've heard that before in classical literature.
Yes, it's often translated as ruthlessness or impermanence. It connects to the classical idea of Shogyo Mujo, the impermanence of all worldly things.
So when we say time is Mujo, are we saying time is mean? Is it actively trying to erase our memories?
That's a great question. No, it's not that time is evil. It's that it lacks emotion. It's indifferent. Think of a river washing away a sandcastle. The river isn't angry at the castle, it just flows. That's Mujo.
That almost makes it sadder, in a way.
It does. The tragedy is that even a hero's glory will eventually rust and be forgotten. And the song suggests this isn't people being ungrateful, it's just a natural law, like leaves falling.
So you just have to resign yourself to it?
In a way, yes. But I think the songwriter is setting up a contrast here. The world might forget ruthlessly Mujuni, but the rest of the song is about the tracks that remain inside Frieren.
So the world forgets, but the individual holds on.
Exactly. The world moves on, but she can't. And that friction is what drives the whole song. She's fighting against that Mujo blow.
And that struggle, that need to understand what she remembers, is the core of our third phrase. This is where her emotional awakening really starts.
English cultural nuance is, I want to truly understand the reason why tears are falling.
Right, this is where she's confused about why she's crying. She asks for the reason.
And the language is so specific here. The word for reason is written with the kanji for logic, but the song forces the pronunciation to be read as wake.
Wake. So not the standard reading.
Not at all. Wake. And that's because wake isn't about a logical reason. It's about the emotional truth, the personal circumstances behind something.
Because she was genuinely baffled at the funeral, wasn't she? She said something like, I only knew him for 10 years. Why am I this sad?
She was completely lost. Her body was reacting to the loss. The tears were falling. But her mind didn't have the wake. She lacked the emotional context for grief.
So this line is her new quest. I need to find the wake.
Yes. It's her decision to try and understand humanity. The lyrics also carry this nuance of even now after it's too late, which is this mix of regret and, well, affection. She knows she missed her chance, but she's going to try now.
It's heartbreaking, but also really inspiring. And so to start understanding, she has to look back at who Himmel really was, which is our fourth phrase.
And it's not what you'd expect.
The translation is, you're still the same too good person, always trying to look cool.
I love this line. It's so human. The Japanese terms are Ohitoyoshi. Someone who's so nice or almost a pushover, and kakotsukete, which means being vain or striking a pose.
Which he did all the time in the story, always checking his reflection.
It was a bit of a show-off.
Yeah.
But here's the insight. In Japanese communication, using that kind of exasperated, teasing language is often a sign of incredible intimacy and trust.
You don't tease a legend on a pedestal, you tease a friend.
You tease a friend. It grounds him. It makes him real. By remembering him as this vain and too nice guy, she's remembering the real human person, not the fairy tale hero. It's a profound sign of how close they were.
I knew the real you. But that vanity, that desire to be remembered, it turns out it was more than that. It was a plan. This leads us to phrase 5.
This might be the most touching part of the whole song. The English cultural nuance is a sign left behind so that I won't ever be alone.
This is about the statues. Himmel had statues of their party put up everywhere, and Frieren just thought he was an egomaniac.
She did. But the lyrics use the word Mejirushi.
Mejirushi.
It means a landmark or a signpost, something to keep you from getting lost. The song reveals that the statues weren't for his fame. They were designed for the future.
For her future.
For her. He knew he'd be gone in what felt like a blink of an eye for her. He knew she'd be walking the world alone for centuries.
So the statues were to keep her from being lonely.
Exactly. So that no matter where she went, 50 or 500 years later, she'd see his face and remember, I had a friend here. I am not alone.
That's just an incredible expression of love. It's love through planning.
It's the ultimate kindness. And the song suggests she's only just now, all these years later, decoding that message, realizing his vanity was actually this profound forward-thinking act of care.
It changes everything. And speaking of that difference in time, the lyrics address it head-on. That brings us to phrase number 6.
Yes, they actually do the math. The English cultural nuance here is a very short journey that was only 1/100th of her life.
100th. That sounds so small, so insignificant.
And that's the cruel reality of her life. Their 10-year journey was an entire chapter for a human. For an elf, it's like a few months, a brief moment.
But the song isn't saying it was insignificant. It's almost the opposite.
That's the paradox. Mathematically, it's just 1%. But that 1% completely changed the color of her entire existence. It's a statement on quality over quantity.
The scarcity is what gives it value.
Exactly. The journey shines because it was brief. The 1100th completely outweighs the other 99. The fleeting nature of that time with a human is what made it so precious.
So we've moved from the past as a fairy tale to finding the wake, to realizing his vanity was love. And now the song turns toward the future. This is phrase number 7.
This is the final step. The English cultural nuance is living together with a new lives blossoming in the land you protected.
Blossoming life. That's such a hopeful image.
It is. It shifts the focus from her memories of Himmel to the present world around her. And that blossoming life is the next generation, the people living in the peace that he fought to create.
The land you protected.
Yes, and the grammar is important. It uses a completed tense, mamorinuita. His job is done, he's secured the future, and now Frieren is living inside that accomplishment.
And then the most important part, Tomoni, together.
This is her salvation. Even though Himmel is physically gone, the world he loved is still here. By living in it, by watching the new life, she is living with him, together.
So she isn't alone. As long as flowers bloom in the land he saved, he's there with her.
Exactly. As long as she walks in the peace he created, she's walking with him. She's found a way to carry him into the future, not as a sad memory, but as a living part of her world.
It's such a beautiful way to redefine what it means to be a hero.
It really is. A hero isn't just someone who swings a sword. That's the Otogi, the fairy tale part. The real hero is someone who leaves a light in someone's heart that never goes out.
Someone who gives you the courage to face the future, even when they're not there.
That's it. And what I find fascinating is how YOASOBI combines this message with their sound. The tempo of this track is high. It's a banger, as they say.
It is. It doesn't sound like a sad ballad.
But that energy is so important. The lyrics are about these quiet, lingering feelings, but wrapping it in this modern, energetic pop sound makes it feel like life is continuing.
It's like her heart is racing as she finally understands, like she's running to catch up with her own feelings.
I agree. It turns a fantasy story into something deeply relatable for anyone who's lost someone and is trying to figure out how to keep moving forward.
Well, this lyric analysis has definitely changed how I hear this song. It's so much more than just an anime opener.
It's a gentle reminder that even when people are gone, Mejirushi, the guideposts they left, are still there if we just look for them.
A lovely thought to end on. Thank you so much for listening to this episode.
Thank you. We select various Japanese songs and update our website with detailed explanations. If you want to taste the lyrics more deeply, please check the website from the link in the description.
And if you enjoyed this program, please subscribe to or follow the channel. It really helps.
We love hearing from you, so if you have any thoughts or requests for songs you'd like us to cover, please let us know in the comments.
See you next time. This was Japan Lyric Room.